Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. You know how we do things around here. We take a source and just totally dissect it. And today, we're diving deep into something a little different.
A little different, yeah.
It's a 10-minute gratitude journal.
Ooh, interesting.
I know, right? But don't worry, we're not just going to be like, oh, be grateful, think positive thoughts.
Right.
We're going deeper. We're going to pull out the real actionable wisdom from this thing, see if we can actually spark some change with these quotes.
Love it. Let's do it.
Okay, so flipping through this journal, one thing that really jumps out is this: action, attitude, learning. It's like a recurring theme, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's this one quote, and I think a lot of people are going to relate to this. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving forward.
Oh, I love that one.
Right? Everyone's felt that wobble at some point.
Totally. But I think there's another layer to that analogy, too.
Oh, tell me.
It's not just about blindly moving forward because, well, with a bike, you could just end up crashing if you're not paying attention.
True.
It's more about, like, that balance between momentum, yeah, but also being mindful.
Mindful action.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, so we're moving forward, but we're being smart about it. Then there's this other quote that just gets me every time. If you think you can do it, you can. And if you think you can't, you're right.
That one is powerful.
Right. It's all about believing in yourself.
It really is. And there's a ton of research that backs that up, you know?
Oh, really?
Yeah, like this whole concept of self-efficacy.
Self-efficacy.
It basically means how much you believe in your own ability to achieve something. And it turns out, if you believe you can do it, you're way more likely to put in the effort, stick with it when things get tough, and actually succeed.
Makes sense. You're more likely to take risks, try new things.
Exactly. Because you don't have that self-doubt holding you back.
I love that. Okay, and all this ties into this idea of constantly learning and growing, which is another big theme in this journal.
Oh, for sure.
There are a couple quotes I wanted to bring up here. One is, you learn much more from failures than from successes.
Yep, classic.
And then there's this one, learn from others' mistakes because you can't live long enough to make them all yourself.
That's a good one. We all need that reminder sometimes. It's like, it's okay to mess up.
Exactly. That's how we learn.
It's all about embracing that growth mindset, you know, that belief that you can always learn and improve.
Totally. I was just thinking about this the other day, actually. I made this mistake on a project.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was so frustrating at the time, but it forced me to do some research, try a different approach, and you know what? It ended up working way better than my original plan.
See, a mistake turned into a win.
Exactly. Have you had any of those moments?
Oh, all the time. I remember this one project where I was so focused on like my vision for it that I kind of brushed off some feedback I was getting.
I don't know.
And then, of course, we hit a roadblock and I had to like totally rethink things. But that experience taught me to be way more open to different perspectives.
That's so important.
It really is. So valuable.
And that actually segues perfectly into this next theme I noticed in the journal, which is all about being intentional.
Intentional living.
Yes. Like making choices that truly align with what you want out of life. There's this one quote that really sums it up. The only real success is living life on your own terms.
Oh, wow. That's powerful.
Right. It's about defining what success means to you, not to society or anyone else.
Absolutely. For some people, success might mean having a family and tons of free time.
For others, it might be climbing the corporate ladder.
Or starting their own business.
Exactly. It's personal.
It really is.
So this is where I want to bring it back to our listeners for a sec.
Mm-hmm.
What does living on your terms actually look like?
Yeah, think about that for a minute.
What changes would you need to make to feel like you're truly living in alignment with your values?
Maybe it means setting some boundaries.
Ooh, good one.
Or having some tough conversations.
Yes. Or even like walking away from something that's no longer serving you.
It could be anything. But the key is, it's your choice.
Love that.
Mm.
Okay, so we've talked about action, attitude, learning, intentional living.
Hitting all the big points.
But there's one more thing I want to highlight from this gratitude journal, and it's the power of positivity.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And not just for yourself, but for spreading it to others too. Here's a quote that I think really embodies that. The best way to encourage yourself is to encourage others.
It's so true, isn't it?
And then there's these other little nuggets, like a single positive word can change a life. And be happy with any success, no matter how small.
It's like that little reminder to celebrate the wins, you know?
Yes. even the small ones.
It keeps you motivated, keeps things in perspective.
It's that ripple effect, right? Like when you're positive and encouraging to others, it not only makes them feel good, but it also creates a more positive environment for you.
Exactly. It all comes back around.
I love that. And, it doesn't have to be anything huge, like just a genuine compliment or offering to help someone out. That can make a world of difference.
You'd be surprised at the impact a small gesture can have.
So true.
Yeah.
Okay, and the last thing I wanted to touch on from this journal is this sense of urgency that comes through in some of the quotes, like what you plan to do tomorrow, do today. What you plan to do today, do now.
I know what you mean. It's not about being stressed or overwhelmed.
No, it's about recognizing that time is precious.
Exactly. And taking action.
So listeners, here's the question. What's one thing, just one thing, that you can do today to move closer to a goal you have?
Maybe it's finally booking that trip.
Or having that tough conversation.
Or even just spending 15 minutes on a project that you're passionate about.
The key is to do something, anything, to make progress.
Start building that momentum.
Okay, so in this deep dive, we've gone through a lot.
We have.
We explored this 10-minute gratitude journal.
Full of gems.
And we talked about action, attitude, learning, intentional living, positivity.
It all ties together, doesn't it?
It really does.
And there's one last quote that I think is the perfect way to wrap things up. There is no path to happiness because happiness is already along the way.
Wow.
So what brings you joy right now in this moment?
Ooh, that's a good one.
How can you bring more of that into your everyday life?
So powerful. And remember, even small changes can make a big difference.
Keep learning, keep growing, and keep that gratitude flowing.
Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We'll see you next time.